morning. Welcome to Morning Momentum Friday of week 3. These videos, as I'm sure you've gathered by now, are intended to be just what the name says, to give some momentum to our day, a motivational word, a thought that will inspire us. As a matter of fact, earlier this week we talked about the importance of enthusiasm, or the importance of an enthusiastic start. When we talked about enthusiasm, we often seek out things that are going to give us momentum. We are frequently challenged to continue to progress and move forward. Motivation to take action is everywhere. In fact, a quick Google search, for instance, immediately brings up, these are the most motivational books ever written. Or another response would be the 7 most popular motivational books of 2017. Still another, the top 10 motivational books of all time. Another, the 20 most, the 31 most. You get the idea. The same would go if we search for progress or moving forward. You can easily find the top 20, 30, 100, the best quotes on moving forward, even 365 quotes on progress for daily inspiration. And if we're not intentional in our intention to move forward, we can often overlook an important step in the pursuit of success, and that is the necessity of a pause. Now, pause is not as thrilling as progress, but there can be power in pause. You see, progress and pause go hand in hand. Motivation and movement require meditation and reflection. In the biblical account of ancient Israel, when leaving the slavery of Egypt, almost immediately they are confronted with a pause moment. The Red Sea is in front of them, impassable terrain to the left and to their right. Pharaoh approaching from behind them. It was decision time. Action needed to happen, and now. But not just any action, it needed to be correct action. It was life or death. And yet a wise and profound statement is uttered by their leader Moses when he says, "Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord." Stand firm. The word means to station or to remain. Sometimes we need to be sensitive to the need to be stationary and make sure we have determined the right course of action. In fact, such a pause will often precede some of our greatest progress. The power of resolute assurance is too often lost in a fast-paced world. We move in a moment only to give up later. Why? Because we never paused. We didn't take time necessary to become convinced that our action was correct. There are times we have to know, not just feel, that a decision or action is right. No wonder the psalmist said, "Be still and know that I am God." I like how Mark Twain pointed out the value of a pause, even in how words are used, when he said, "The right words may be effective, but no word was ever as effective as a rightly timed pause." The same can be true regarding our actions. For practical instance, while the button on your Facebook app that says post may qualify as a noun due to the fact that it is an inanimate object, the reality is the Facebook post button is an action. How many relationships have been shattered, reputations tarnished, and needless conflicts instigated when we took action and pushed that post button? There are times you really need to pause before the action. The simply practical illustration works for the bigger issues of life as well. There's great value in the pause before the action. As mentioned, we're always hearing about and being challenged about moving forward, pressing ahead, advancing, making progress. But there are some decisions and actions that are just too important, when it is absolutely necessary to pause in order to advance effectively. So we are directed, be still and know. You will often realize that the confidence to take action doesn't come in the flurry of activity, but in the stillness of a pause. Here are a few questions to ponder in practical applications for pause. Number 1, when should I pause? And here are a few practical answers to that. Number 1, for health reasons. Secondly, to gain strength. The principle of the Sabbath in the Bible speaks loudly to both of these. Another one would be when making major decisions, when waiting on the timing of God. If you don't know, be still. Secondly, what are some things I should consider during a pause? Well, here's some answers for that. Number 1, do I have an answer of peace regarding a decision or an action? Secondly, am I in agreement with my spouse, spiritual authority, such as my pastor, trusted confidants and advisors in my life. Thirdly, the question we would ask is, what should I do during a pause? Now, pause is not a euphemism for laziness. It's not sitting back and just waiting. You need to think, strategize, and plan. Secondly, listen to your spouse and advisors. And then thirdly, ask. Not, is this decision right? But ask, is it wise? Ultimately, throughout the scripture, delay was used by God to prepare His people. Pause may feel like delay, but it is not defeat. Just ask Israel. Be still was shortly followed by, the Lord will fight for you, and God saying, move forward into miracles. So as you begin the day today, before you rush out the door and make hasty decisions, take a moment now and pause.